I'm Judy Noodleman. I've been a resident since November 2024. And it's my pleasure to introduce Christine Albert. She's an American singer, songwriter. Her music is French bilingual with Texas country. And here with her also is Laurie Anian, who is the development director for Swan Songs. There's materials at the back. If you didn't get them, stop by and you can pick them up on your way out. So Christine has been a major talent in the Austin music scene since 1982, when she got here from upstate New York by way of Santa Fe. In 1997, Christine Albert and Chris Gage paired up to form Albert and Gage, and 6 years later, they married. They performed both together and separately until Chris died last year. Christine is a committed community activist. She serves as Chair Emeritus of the Board of Trustees for the National Academy of Recording Arts and Sciences. She was co-founder of the Austin Songwriters Group and has served on the board of the Austin Rape Crisis Center. She is founder and CEO of the nonprofit Swan Songs, a nonprofit dedicated to fulfilling musical last wishes of individuals near the end of their lives. Swan Songs brought joy to me and my husband Harvey when they brought Ruthie Foster, our most favorite musician, to our home. And if you look closely in the slide set, you can see Harvey and I in them. They've brought the same joy to families across the Austin area and also here at Westminster. We're thrilled to have them with us, and today you'll have the pleasure of hearing Christine's music and learning about Swan Songs. Let's give a big welcome to Christine.
Thank you, Judy.
Talk about a powerhouse. You have one in your midst. We went to the luncheon recently where she was honored for her work with her Women in Neuroscience organization. Congratulations again. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. And mostly today I came to talk to you about Swan Songs, but I'm sure knowing me, we'll divert into other conversations and topics, and then I will sing a few songs for you too at some point. And this, what we're going to see on there in a little bit, I want to give you some context before you see it, is every year we create a slideshow of images of our Swan Songs concerts, and it's set to the music of an Austin musician each year. So we'll watch one from 2017, which was the year we did the concert for Harvey, and the music is by Jimmy LaFave, a beloved Austin musician who also died that year. So it's an especially poignant one for me. But recently I spoke at UT at one of the Ollie events, and we were showing the slideshow as people were coming in, and then we started a conversation about Swan Songs, and someone said, I wish we would seen that after you talked, because we didn't know what we were looking at when we came in. We didn't have the context. So I thought that's a good point. So today we're going to reverse that and fix that. So I'll tell you about Swan Songs first, and then we'll watch the video. But how many of you have heard of Swan Songs? Oh, good. How many have had a Swan Songs concert for someone they love? All right, because I've talked to several of you today that I knew had. Swan Songs fulfills musical last wishes. And so our mission is to connect music lovers in Austin with their favorite music and bring that to them at the end of their life or nearing the end of their life. And it's not what we think they should listen to. What's powerful about it is that they request what's ever meaningful for them. And then we set out to find we work with professional musicians, so we bring a very high level musical experience, and we compensate the musicians, because half of our mission is to also support the music community. And I knew at the beginning of the organization that I didn't want to be in a position where I was repeatedly calling someone for a favor. It's fine the first time, but especially in this work, it's a very emotionally charged environment often, and professional musicians are used to being in unexpected environments. Maybe not the end of life, although I'm sure some also have played memorials and sat at the bedside with a loved one. But you never know what you're going to walk into as a professional musician. If it's, is there really a PA or not? Is the venue open or has it just been closed? And is there a sign on the door? Are you outside and it's 104 and the show must always go on? So I knew we needed to be able to count on the musicians to walk into unexpected environments. And that's the thing about a Swan Songs concert, is that the situation, the emotion in the room, the where you are physically, everyone is completely different, and everyone is as unique as the requests themselves. So we always tell musicians that work with us, just because you've done a Swan Songs concert or 5 Swan Songs concerts, you don't know what the next one will be. And so it's always varied, and it's always the thing that has been surprising to me is that a lot of people say, that's kind of depressing. Isn't that sort of depressing to go into these situations over and over again, and for your staff to be working on this, and for the musicians? And really, most of the time, you walk out with a sense of joy and fullness. There's something, I just went through this, as Judy mentioned. My husband died 10 months ago, and we had 3 Swan Songs concerts that were not officially planned. He actually said to me when he first got sick, "Don't be bringing a bunch of folk singers over here." He was like, "Just let me go through my thing." But our friends insisted, they knew the moment. We're coming. We don't care if it's an official request. So we did have 3 different times that musicians came and played. And especially now, I founded the organization in 2005 based on my experience as a musician and being inspired by having been asked to come sing for a couple who loved my music, and he was dying of a brain aneurysm. So I'd had the experience as a musician, which inspired the idea, motivated me to finally just dig in with a group of people and create this thing. But suddenly when Chris was dying and friends were singing, I was sitting on the hospital bed in the living room with him, and I thought, oh, I'm the next of kin of the recipient. All of these terminologies we have to describe the different people that are involved in these situations. And so my understanding of it has deepened because of that in the last year, and I'm even more passionate about it now. So I mentioned that it started in 2005. The original inspiration happened in 1992, is when I was asked to come sing for this couple. And it was a Swan Songs concert. It's what turned into Swan Songs, and his name was John Swan. So years later, when I came up with the name Swan Songs, I didn't connect that. When I first thought of it, I just thought it was a beautiful, graceful name, a song at the end of life. Then I realized, wait, John Swan is perfect. But it really, she invited his colleagues. He worked at UT. She invited colleagues and family members and neighbors and friends. And I went with my trio at the time, Paul Glass and Mitch Watkins, and the 3 of us played. And it was striking that you could tell everyone in there was so happy to be with him and to be sharing something with him. Because especially as someone declines in illness, it can become uncomfortable to come visit. You don't know what to say. You don't know how to be. And he had lost the ability to speak. So it was even more uncomfortable for his friends. They didn't know how to not have a conversation. And this gave them a reason to come and to be with him. And I could also see for Denise, his wife, how much joy it brought to her because she felt like she could do something for him, because you feel so powerless in those weeks and days leading to someone's passing. Like you really can't do much except help manage their pain or whatever their care involves. And she felt like she was able to bring him something on a different level. And as we were leaving, I remember thinking, this makes so much sense. Here we are, we have just come up with the phrase, the live music capital of the world. And I was thinking, here we are in the live music capital, and music is so important. In our community, it's kind of unique how important music is, and the relationships between the musicians and the audiences. It's a very close bond, and obviously musicians couldn't do it without an audience. It wouldn't make as much sense. So it's very appreciated, and there's a tenderness back and forth in those communities. And it seemed like it would make sense for someone who's a big music lover, especially one particular artist, for instance, Ruthie Foster. How would you have known how to get in touch with Ruthie Foster? I just thought there has to be a conduit for people that have and I was really seeing a specific artist like Ruthie, like Jimmy LaFave, like Marcia Ball, like Ray Benson, all the people that have been requested over the years. An organization that could facilitate that conversation. And then we had to think about the compensation. And I wanted musicians to be compensated, but we didn't want it to be on negotiating with an agent. You know, the value is the value. Like everyone has the same value, whether they're a superstar or a local violinist in the symphony. So over the years, we've figured out the paradigm, figured out the structure, and so our musicians are compensated. And I would say 90% of the musicians say, thank you, this is one of the most meaningful things I've ever done with my music, and the fact that you respect me enough to also offer compensation means a lot. And then the other 10% are kind of without exception, all those ones that have names that you recognize. And they say, you don't need to pay me, because they have a career that is sustaining them. And so they say make that an in-kind donation. So it's kind of worked out very naturally over the years. And it's grown naturally, organically, slowly, because I was a full-time musician for most of the first 15 years. And as Judy mentioned, I was also an officer on the Recording Academy board, which took a lot of effort, a lot of time. It's an elected position. The meetings were all in LA. It was constant meetings within an organization that was a nonprofit at a very high level. And I was involved at a high level. So I was like in school. From like 2007 to 2015, when I turned back around and really started to dig in with Swan songs, I was learning so much about a nonprofit and the management, because I was on the finance committee, the governance committee, the strategic planning, HR issues. So I really had like a master class. So we grew slowly while I was busy doing that and being a musician and trying to grow Swan songs. And then we started to pick up steam, and now last month we had 67 requests in 1 month. So the first year we had 3, and then it went like 3, 12, 25, 60 in 1 year. And so it was, we'd go, oh my God, we had 60 requests this year. So now we're at 67 last month, and we have a staff of 5 staff members, and then several consultants that help us with communications and development and accounting and expertise in various fields. And our 2 program directors are booking concerts constantly. Saturday we have 5 concerts, and they're all ASAP. Like the longer we have relationships with hospice, social workers, and chaplains is where most of our requests come from. They start to know Swan songs, they start to understand it, they see that once the request is made, they get to step back and our team takes over, so we try and make it easy for those busy professionals. But now they're like, they recognize this would be a good Swan Songs recipient. So we have 5 concerts on Saturday that all came in this week as a last minute, like it's ASAP. When someone is imminent, then we try and get there as quickly as possible. And so we have a very deep bench of musicians because the styles of music are so far ranging. I mentioned that I kind of imagined it a Ruthie Foster fan, you know, a Bob Schneider fan, you know, the request would be for an artist, a specific artist. What it's evolved into more than that are styles of music. So it's opera, and they trust us to bring a very good opera singer. Or we had a request for Vietnamese music recently. So we brought a Vietnamese folk singer. And we said, well, we've got that now, because sometimes they're not in our database already. So we're like going, and we call the local Vietnamese society, you know, we just start digging. Then we're happy we have them. But we didn't really expect to ever get another request for Vietnamese music, but we did about 2 months later. So we were like, yes, we can do that. Not a problem. New Orleans jazz, bluegrass, blues, country, a lot of country, and mariachi. Mariachi is one of our top requests. And when I first started it, it was Frank Sinatra, big band, American songbook, and that still is a very common request, a very, frequent request. But Karen, our director of programs today, said, we got to get more Beatles musicians. It's like and I knew this would happen in theory, 20 years ago. I thought, we're going to watch the music requests shift as the generations change. And now it's Bob Dylan, the Beatles, the band, Grateful Dead, Journey. We had a Journey request this week. We get heavy metal requests. You'd be really surprised at what your concept of, people typically think it's quiet classical guitar or harp by the bedside. And sometimes it is, but more often than that, now that the hospice community understands what we do, it's for whatever is meaningful for that person. And it connects you with your essence. There's something about music that you don't need. It's not about the lyrics necessarily. It's the sound, it's the memories, it's the culture that comes along with it. And from having this experience with Chris, I really see how all these things start falling away. Your language starts falling away, and your ability to get up and to take care of yourself, and you just start losing pieces of yourself that defined you. And there's something about bringing music in that, especially for him, it went right to the core of who he is. I'm sure that Ruthie did that for Harvey. He didn't have to express what it meant or articulate it or articulate what the emotion is that you're feeling. And I think that's also the gift to the family. The family no longer has to say all the things they want to say to this person. The music sort of speaks for you. And I know another firsthand experience of that was my mom. When my dad was dying, my mother's first language was French. She's French-Swiss and had a Parisian stepmother. And I have 3 albums that I recorded in French and English. So when my dad was dying, I wasn't there. She played my CDs, my French CDs. And she said it was perfect because they were these love songs that would weave back and forth from her native language to his. So she was getting to all these things she wanted to say, I was saying for her in the songs in both of their languages. And I just thought that was a great example of the spirit of Swan songs. So we now have, like I said, we're very busy with concerts. We have a bigger staff, and we're constantly trying to, the thing about a nonprofit, I'm sure many of you know, is that this, to me, the structure of it is the business itself is the vehicle that carries the mission. So we've tried to be really diligent about making sure that vehicle is well cared for, is funded, is formalized, so that you're not just trying to make it up every time something happens. That's the point of the board, the governance, and the policies and procedures. We now moved one of our staff members into an operations position so that we can start to codify these things that we do, how we put on concerts and how we engage with the community, the kind of language we use, the way we communicate. So we've been doing that for a while, and also working on developing a model for other communities. Because I've had for years, ever since it started, how would we start this here in East Texas? How would we start this here in Albuquerque? And I got tired of saying, I don't know. We got to figure it out first. So we took the pandemic as a board and figured out an expansion model. We have 2 different models so that a community can either start a Swan Songs from the ground up and be affiliated with us, and we do the training, we do give them tools, they're part of our family, but they're a separate legal entity. And the other model is to take a nonprofit that aligns with our mission and then license the program. So we now have a Swan Songs Portland in Portland, Oregon, and we're talking with Kerrville and Fredericksburg and Tulsa, Oklahoma, about creating either a program within another nonprofit or a standalone organization. So the mission is, that was always sort of in the back of my mind, that when you have something that I think has such value, you don't want to hold it too close. You want to protect it and be a good steward, but you also want to open the gate and be the gatekeeper, but have the gate open if there's another community for whom it makes sense. So in Portland, for instance, that's kind of a music town, and they decided they wanted that, and they've been working on it. And I was worried about the kind of music. Are they going to have enough musicians? And I thought, are they going to have, what about mariachi? They're not going to have mariachi musicians there. You know, I was kind of worried about them. But realizing, well, maybe that won't be their #1 request in Portland, Oregon. So maybe let go of that worry a little bit. And then sure enough, we got them all set up and got their tools and their online request form, and they're all ready for their first request. And their first request is for mariachi. It just made me laugh. I was like, yeah, you just don't know with Swan Songs. You can't expect what people are going to want. And they had to work pretty hard to find a mariachi band, but they did it. So now they have that in their back pocket. So anyway, here we are in Austin, Texas with Swan Songs taking flight for sure. And a lot of people that came in, I already knew you guys, you already knew about Swan Songs, that had experience. Judy certainly has. So I want to thank you for inviting me to be here today to kind of talk about it a little bit. I am going to sing some too, but I wanted to see if there's any questions about Swan Songs or about how we do this, and or anybody that wants to share an experience from having had a Swan Songs concert. Okay, look, I feel like Vanna White.
I was just, well, thank you. But oh, all right, I can do that. Make me a singer. I was just struck by how I get this intro. Are you uploading this tonight or tomorrow?
Oh, this.
Or how I get this. I know you have, I wrote down swansongs.org, but your current intro is perfect.
Oh, thank you. To share, they are recording.
It will be on are you a Westminster resident?
No.
Well, you know a Westminster resident, obviously, because you're here. It will be on our portal.
Okay,
Oh, that's great. Yeah,
so thank you.
yeah, that's a good question.
I didn't know the answer.
So I was only wondering if somebody you knew was, wanting something like this, how would you go about doing it?
Yeah.
Probably should have covered that already, but we have a website, swansongs.org, and you don't have to officially be on hospice care, and you don't have to have your hospice social worker or a chaplain make the request. We get most of our requests that way, but family and friends can request. So if you go to swansongs.org, there's a make a request, and there's a form that you fill out, and it says, just a little information on what kind of music and what day of the week would be best. And then one of our program swans, we call them the swans, call and have a conversation and get more details. And then we get to work. Sometimes the family members want to be the one that is communicating about it, and sometimes they're on overload. And they say, somebody else take care of it. And so they get the hospice person to have all the conversations. But, there's the musicians, the facility, if they're in a facility, the family members, the recipient, the hospice professionals, a lot of people that you have to align the schedule with. And another important thing is that a concert can take place anywhere. So if someone's at home, we go there. If they're in a hospital, we go there, although that's more rare because usually they're not in a hospital if they're in a place where they're in a non-curative kind of phase with the illness. Or a care facility, lots in care facilities. And if the room is too small for it, we ask the family and the recipient, would you like to do it in the main room? And if so, can we invite the other residents? And so we leave it up to them. And then if the other residents are there, we still try and keep the focus on the recipient, make sure they feel special, that it's their concert.
How long is a typical concert?
These are great questions. I should have covered probably 30 to 40 minutes. And we try and keep them unplugged, so they're very acoustic. But some of the ones, especially like in the larger facilities, they need to bring a small PA. But it's usually 30 to 40 minutes. And, sometimes the recipient is getting pretty tired by then. And we have really meaningful, let me go up here so you volunteer position, which is the concert liaison. So I figured out early on, after a couple of kind of experiences, that we need to always have a Swan Songs representative at the concert. But we don't have enough staff members to be running. They go to a lot of them. We all go to a lot of them. But it's a beautiful volunteer role. So we train our volunteers, and they go through a training process, and then they shadow a couple of concerts with a more experienced liaison. And then they're there to say, it's been about 40, how about one more song? So that somebody's keeping an eye on the time. Or they see after 20 minutes, it looks like he's getting tired. Shall we just do one more song? So they're kind of the eyes and ears and intuition in the room. And then they send a report afterwards. So we have good demographics and data about who was there and how many people were serving. And my favorite part, a narrative. They write a story about, what the concert was like and what the reactions were and what songs the musicians did. That's always really valuable too, to have all that information. Anybody else? Is there anything else, Lori, that you think I should cover while we're talking?
Just if they're wanting our website information, that the brochures in the back
Oh, yeah.
are on there.
Right. When you come in, we put some brochures there and my business cards and a couple of QR codes. So for our website, those brochures have the website in case you don't remember. But it's swansongs.org, and you can find everything there. Shall I sing a little bit?
Yeah.
Or should we watch Jimmy LaFave's, the slideshow? Let me do a song or two, and then we'll watch that, and then we'll do a little bit more. And I didn't bring a whole PA and, I'm just gonna kind of wander around near this mic and hope that my guitar and voice pick up. If I can get this on the stand, there it goes. So, it's hard to know always what kind of songs to do, but this song is written by a friend of mine named Michael Austin, and I just like it because it kind of embodies the spirit of Swan songs in a song, and the philosophy of Swan songs I've always felt like was summed up in this song. I don't need no gold before I go. I don't need no gold before I go. I'll take the hand of my honest child. She and me will run wild. I don't need no gold before I go. I don't need no diamonds before I go. I don't need no diamonds before I go. I'll take the stars up in the sky, twinkle in my baby's eye. I don't need no diamonds before I go. Just give me songs to sing the praises of the past. Give me the heart to treat each day just like the last. Give me time to plant a seed and watch it grow. Give me all these things before I go. I don't want no crying when I go. I don't want no crying when I go. I'll take the hand of an honest child. She and me will run wild. I don't want no crying when I go. Just give me songs to sing the praises of the past. Give me the heart to live each day just like the last. Give me time when I see and watch it grow. Give me all these things before I go. I wanna jump, I wanna fly, I wanna climb a mountain, eat a cherry pie. I wanna learn so very much I'd like to know. Give me all these things before I go. Give me all these things before I go. Please, give me all these things before I go. I guess since I mentioned my mom and my French CDs, and we have a French singer here who's going to be performing for you in a couple weeks. Is that when
The 11th.
The 11th of August. Wonderful. Quand il me prend dans ses bras, il me parle tout bas, je vois la vie en rose. Il m'a dit des mots d'amour, des mots de tous les jours, et ça m'a fait quelque chose. Il est entré dans mon cœur, on parle de bonheur dont je connais la cause. C'est lui pour moi pour lui dans la vie. Il m'a dit, là je rêve pour la vie. Dès que je l'aperçois, alors je sens en moi mon cœur qui bat. Hold me close, hold me fast, the magic spell you cast. This is la vie en rose. When you kiss me, heaven sighs. Though I close my eyes, I see la vie en rose. When you press me to your heart, I'm in a world apart, a world where roses bloom. vie en rose. Thank you.
So watch the slideshow?
This is, so, as I mentioned, this is a song written by Jimmy LaFave. He was a beloved Swan Songs local musician and did few Swan Songs concerts. One of which, we got a request for him a couple days after he told me that he had very advanced cancer. And I was like, oh, can he do this? And I called him and he goes, no, I'll do it. I want to do it, Christine. I have to go to MD Anderson next week, and then I'll do it the week after. He was such a trooper, and they didn't know that he was sick, and it was a beautiful concert, and it meant so much to the woman who requested him. And she had all of her girlfriends that all had crushes on Jimmy LaFave, and they were all in a circle watching him. So in 2017, when we did the slideshow, we wanted to use one of Jimmy's songs in honor of him. So this is his song, Going Home.
Yeah. Is my stuff kind of messy and in the way? Oh, yeah.
Go to sleep, you will regret it. Let the miles roll you away, out to this place on the prairie, where we've reached the end of day. You're going home, close your eyes, you're going home. Don't you worry, I'm right beside you. You can dream a peaceful dream. This road is long, but I don't worry, 'cause you cause my heart to sing. Close your eyes, you're going home. Close your eyes. You may wake up and find me driving with a teardrop in my eyes. It's from the happiness inside me. The reason why is you and I. Go to sleep, you precious angel. Night is fallen, day is gone. The brown eyes will sparkle in the sunrise. They will dance beside the dawn.
last picture is the concert that Jimmy did when he had just gotten back from MD Anderson and sitting on that fireplace. It was really beautiful. I got to be there that day. It was beautiful. And there was one in there that I remembered was we got a request for Japanese music. And we were, ooh, how do we do this? And the woman had always wanted to go to Japan and had never gotten to go. So her partner had turned their apartment into, everything was Japanese, and the food, and the Chihuahua was wearing a kimono. Which now I have a Chihuahua, and I'm like, I want one of those kimonos. She's so cute in that. And we found through the Japan American Society like a 15-year-old, I think, that came and played violin, and her mother came with her. So she played Japanese pieces, and then her mother read the story of that song, the story of where that came from, that piece, and what it encompassed. And so it was one of those challenging ones that it was fun to put together and came up with a good thing. This, I'd forgotten, this slideshow is at a time, years ago, I think that might have been the first one, because that was a Gordon Fowler painting, Marcia Ball's husband. And we started a tradition called Remember and Reflect. And so each year we have a different Austin artist that does a painting or a photograph of an image of a swan. And the Remember and Reflect tradition is that when people give in memory of someone, we have a Remember and Reflect wall on our website, and they can send a photo, and we put it on this wall. And at the beginning, it was few enough that we could put it in the slideshow and show it at the serenade. And then we developed a Remember and Reflect gathering that we did at Trinity Church many times. So it's an open to the public memorial service that we have once a year. So that's a separate event from the giving campaign. Anyone can come to the Remember and Reflect gathering, which we now do out at Community First Village. And they have, we do concerts for some of their residents. And they have a beautiful, I don't know if you know, they've expanded, so they're putting up more housing across the highway, and they have a beautiful event center and where their offices are. So they've just expanded another 40 acres, I think. So we do that every June in their facility. We partner with them. And we can no longer show all the faces because it becomes too hard to manage at the event, and you're just scared to death somebody's going to be left out. And so they're on the website. And then our other big event, each year we have our Swan Song Serenade, which is our annual gala. And this year it will be at the Junior League on November 1st. And we have a different Austin musician that plays each year. The first one was Jerry Jeff Walker, and then Jimmy Dale Gilmore and Butch Hancock, and we've had Eliza Gilkison, Ruthie Foster, Marcia Ball, Robert Earl Keane, Bob Schneider. It's always a really wonderful event. And this year's John Mook is a young man from Uganda who has come to America and made these incredible dreams come true. He's very positive, beautiful voice, and a great songwriter, kind of a folk pop songwriter. So that'll be on November 1st, and there's information on our website. In case you guys want to have a Westminster table and just all come to the event. Then we have our signature circle is our giving circle of donors at a certain level, like $1,000 a year, and then we do special music events for those donors as well. And the next one is going to be at the Rosette, a theater that was created by the Austin Classical Guitar Society. So we're excited about partnering with them and having a new venue for a really nice sounding concert for our signature circle members. So that's a little bit of our world, what we put on every year, and have this beautiful sort of rhythm with what we do each year, and the years go by really fast. So we're grateful that you're here today. Let me get my cake. Are there any more questions? Lori?
I was just gonna say that all of our services are free of charge.
Oh.
We haven't really covered that.
Yes.
That's what a lot of these events are covering, is is to pay, the funding goes towards paying for the musicians and the staff to facilitate all these concerts, but there's no charge for any of the recipients or their families.
A very key point. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Another key point that I left out, but yeah,
Can
that's,
you repeat what I just said? 'Cause
yes, that's a good idea. So what Lori was saying is that there's never a charge for the family that is receiving the concert. All of our funding goes to paying the musicians and the staff that it takes to facilitate everything. So that was part of, in the early days when I was trying to figure out how could we make this happen in the community, and I kept thinking, I want the musicians to be offered compensation, but I don't want the family to have to pay anything. And it took me a while to go, oh, that's what a nonprofit does. You have a program, you have a mission, and the community supports it, and that has proven to be very true. As the organization has grown, so has our support, and we're really grateful for that. I never dreamed we would be at this point, this many requests in a year and able to manage it, but it's support from people like you and people like Judy who put this together and has been a supporter since Harvey's passing after her firsthand experience. So I'll do one more song, and I think I'll make it a Jimmy LaFave song. Lonesome traveler and rambling types, shuffling down some unknown trail tonight. Hobo jungles and your boxcar dreams, living only by your ways and means. Carry on and remain. A new light shines upon you once again. Carry on and remain. Buffalo return to the plain. Midnight rounders and need no rest. Gypsy hearts beating wildly in their chest. One step ahead of the rules and laws. Hey brother, dear brother, you've seen it all, but you carry on and remain. Let your spirit rise above the pain. Carry on and remain. Buffalo return to the plain. Faded followers of railway lines, people who really hear America crying. God be with you all and bless you, please. Out where the highways just turn to breeze. Carry on and remain. This land is ours to reclaim. Carry on and remain. Buffalo return to the plain.